All right, and we're back with another edition of Advice with Ryan Townend of William Joseph Communications. Ryan, thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Now, we are talking about why brands fail this morning.
Yes. Now, here's the thing. Brands come into our lives every day, and some stay the test of time and they're with us forever, and other ones just sort of seem to disappear. Why does that happen?
Yeah, the graveyard of dead brands is something you've listed here. some of the brands: New Coke, Crystal Pepsi, BlackBerry, MySpace, and HMV. So what's going on with these brands?
Yeah, so what you find is the world is changing. So sometimes companies come into the world and they solve our current need, and then the world changes and we don't have that need anymore. So if they don't adapt, they're no longer relevant. You look at BlackBerry, it came into our world very strong as a cellular device, and now it disappeared, and now it's reinventing itself as like an intellectual company. So some brands disappear again, from the landscape altogether, and other brands take a little time to refigure out who they are, and then they resurface.
Now, we have 5 reasons why brands fail here, beginning with number 1. Ineffectual storytelling.
Absolutely. So people have to be able to want to engage with you and listen to you for you to sell to them. So if you're not telling them a compelling story, there's no reason for them to listen to you, and they just lose interest.
And inauthenticity, that's also a killer.
This isn't human life as in business. You have to be authentic. The values that you distribute or that you profess to have in the marketplace, you have to really demonstrate when you deal with your customers. If people feel at all that your company is not authentic to who they're being, they're not going to trust you. And trust is like such a key component when you build a brand.
I guess the same can be said for breaking promises, especially the promise your brands make.
Absolutely. So every brand goes out and tells a compelling story, and it makes a promise to its consumers. So if you use us, this is what we're going to deliver. So you think about in the automobile industry, like Volvo is all about safety. BMW is about the ultimate driving experience. And so really what you're finding is that once you make that claim, you have to support that claim, right? If people feel that it's not true, again, you break their trust and they're out.
Now, misjudging customer perception. I know customer perception is a hard thing to kind of gather already, but, you know, how does misjudging affect you?
Yeah, absolutely. Research, research, research. You need to understand what your customers are thinking and what they want, and then you have to develop products and branding and marketing that resonates with them. If you kind of misjudge or make an assumption and you misalign the brand from what they really wanted, it's not going to be relative. They're not going to relate to it. It's not going to be credible, and it's not going to work, right? So you really have to always use research to dial in to understand that customers' perceptions and their expectations.
Now, the 5th reason you've listed, poor competitive differentiation. Kind of explain that.
Yeah. So this really goes back to why. Why do you exist? Why do people hire you? What do you do? And the thing is if you don't really understand your why and your place in the world, you're going to speak at a rational level. So rational is more like what we do. And so that's what your competitor does too. So then what makes you stand out? Right? So if you don't have a really clear understanding as to your story and to your why, you really have a hard time differentiating yourself.
So as a business, how do I avoid this dead brand graveyard?
Number 1, as a business, you always must adapt to your customers' needs. You have to understand where the world's going and what you need to do to service that new world. To get help, you know, again, this branding, storytelling, creation that we talk about all the time on Advice and at William Joseph, it takes a team of professionals to do that. So don't be fearful if you need a little help to reach out to somebody that's done this and say, you know, can you help us out too?
Always very crucial information and very important, Ryan. Thanks so much for joining us again this morning.